This is the Metal Queens podcast. I'm Steve Richards. Welcome to this episode, the podcast that celebrates the fierce, the fearless, and the women who keep the spirit of rock alive. I'm Steve Richards, and today I am joined by an absolute icon, a powerhouse vocalist, performer, and rock and roll trailblazer, too. She first roared onto MTV and into our hearts, fronting Femme Fatale, delivering unforgettable anthems like Waiting for the Big One, Fallen in and Out of Love. Now she's back with new music, stronger than ever. The first single, Living Like There's No Tomorrow, came out this summer. It's on Cleopatra Records. Killer video, too. We'll talk about that. Please welcome to the Metal Queens podcast, Lorraine Lewis.
Well, Steve, thank you so much. That was such a warm welcome. Am I blushing? I should be blushing because you said some really epic, amazing things. I don't know if I can really handle all of that, but I'll take it today. Thank you so much. I'm really happy to be here on Metal Queens. This is really cool. I think we tried to get this happening a while ago, so
Yeah.
it's about time.
No, and
Thank
thanks
you
for
so much.
doing this. I'm glad we could. And you've got a lot of new music to talk about, big plans for 2026 too, which we'll get to. Living Like There's No Tomorrow. Let's start there. It's such an empowering and such a feel-good anthem. It was great timing to release it in the summer. What inspired this song? And how did your collaboration with Steve Brown from Trickster come together?
Well, Steve and I, that's a great question. Steve and I go way back to, we were both label mates on MCA. And Steve and I, we would see each other on the rock cruises, et cetera. We've sung together on stage before. I've joined him, for one-offs and things like that. And Steve is a great guy, obviously an amazing songwriter, a really kick-ass guitar player, great guitar player on stage, performance wise. I mean, he's really the full package. So basically, what happened is after my exit from Vixen in May of last year, Steve called me and he said, like, basically, it ain't over till it's over. And I'm like, I know, that's what I believe. And so he said, let's do an album. And, he was just coming off the success of Ace Frehley's 10,000 Volts.
Mm,
Which I loved that song immediately when I heard it. I thought it was so catchy and so great. And I will say, Ace,
yeah.
rest in peace. It's been a rough week for rock and roll, with him passing, and also with Sam Rivers from Limp Bizkit passing away
Yes.
as well. And actually, another icon left us last night. My very, very good friend, Glenn LaFerman, rock photographer, passed away last night. So it's been a rough year for rock and roll and our icons leaving us. And, we know that it's inevitable, but at the same time, man, we're not quite ready for it when it happens. So rest in peace, all of you wonderful gentlemen. But yes, Steve did contact me. He said, let's do a record. He actually had the song somewhat mapped out. He had the anthemic chorus ready to go. I fell in love with it immediately. And then he sent me the track and kind of a rough melody line of what he was thinking about. And I worked with the melody line, I worked with the message, and it really is about my life and what was going on at the time, like, and just making up my mind like it isn't over till it's over. And I'm going to live life to the fullest. I mean, I had made up my mind I was going to live life to the fullest years ago, but that moment in time when Steve sent me the song, it was like the perfect anthem for me to say what I wanted to say, which, like, don't count me out. Don't count me out just yet. I'm not ready to stop because I am the girl that never goes away. I will never stop rocking and rolling. I will always be here. And it just felt so good to sing and perform that song. The lyrics came pretty easily. One in a million, a shot in the dark, like all of that just spoke to me. And I think that it's relatable. And it is a feel-good song of the summer for sure. And I think that it was really important for me to come out with something that was uplifting and powerful and maybe not exactly happy, but gives you hope, right?
Yeah.
It gives you hope, and to maybe look at yourself and know that you can still keep going no matter what forks in the road come your way. You don't have to ever give up. And that's the message of the song. Let's
Yeah.
keep doing it. Yeah.
Yeah. and the title you were just talking about loss and the losses recently and living like there's no tomorrow. Really, you have to.
True. We have to live like there's no tomorrow. It's just we don't know. I mean, and that is, the lyric in the song, like it's a gift. We don't know what is around the corner tomorrow. I didn't know last night when I went to sleep that Glenn wasn't going to be here today.
Yeah.
We just talked on the phone a couple days ago. So we have to keep things in perspective. I mean, obviously you still got to work, got to pay your bills and all this stuff, but at the same time, take that trip, make amends with somebody that you feel has done you wrong. What have you, call that person that's on your mind, do that stuff because it just, I mean, and I'll tell you, even 2 days ago, Glenn called me from the hospital. He was getting a blood transfusion and he called me and he's like, I'm bored. I'm like doing this thing and I'm bored. And so we had but when he called, I was in Starbucks and I was like, oh, it's Glenn. And I wanted to talk to him right away, but there was a lot of noise and I took the call outside. But I'm so happy that I didn't just, oh, I'll get to it later.
Yeah.
There is no later. There is
Yep.
only now.
Yeah.
There's only now. So living like there's no tomorrow, live it up, people, and do the things that you want to do and don't let anybody tell you to stop. Just keep going, living, loving, and learning. And let's just keep going. That's my
Yeah.
soapbox.
You mentioned Ace. I want to ask you, any memory, one or two with Ace and Kiss?
I never officially met Ace. I've
Mm.
never met him. And it's really interesting. Kiss was more, and I'll just be honest, I wasn't a fan of Kiss when they first came out.
Hmm.
I I was a little bit older. They were more my brother's band. I had two younger brothers. Rick was in the band Femme Fatale. I had two brothers, and they had posters. You'd walk into the room, it was just black walls of Kiss posters. I remember that was kind of an issue with my parents. We were raised Catholic, and they were like, "Oh, I don't know about this demonic stuff that's so
Yeah.
ridiculous when you think about it." But yeah, they were really more my brother's genre, like band. Like that was the era. I kind of missed that. I didn't become a Kiss fan until later. I will say that Paul Stanley was originally slated to produce the Femme Fatale record. That was who MCA Records had originally wanted. And then it was a timing thing that didn't work out. Or maybe he passed. Who knows what the real truth is. But he was slated to work on the album. And I know he came to see us at the Whiskey A Go-Go when we performed. But then, yeah, I became a Kiss fan. And now going back, the last few days, I've just watched so many things on YouTube. And Ace was such an ace,
Yeah.
like
Oh, yeah.
what a cool cat.
Yeah.
And I've been really taken back with the makeup.
Hmm.
Now, was he really the makeup himself? It looks like they all were doing their own makeup. Those lines are immaculately straight, and it's unbelievable to me. Like just that level of artistry in them putting on their makeup and taking it so seriously. When you look at Ace and some of the photos, at least the way that I have felt, I look at that and I think, you know, he was so committed to Kiss, to the project, to the look. You have to really pay respect to Paul and Gene that sold the idea to him. He was a brilliant guitar player. He could have done anything. And they had to like, yeah, you're going to wear an outfit and makeup. Like and back then, like, huh? It just seems incredible to me. And my hat goes off to all of them that they believed it, they lived it, and they owned it.
Yeah.
And that is not easy to find, you
No,
know,
fully
for the
immersed,
gen
really.
they lived it to the fullest. They fully immersed themselves in the Kiss brand. And I just really pay respect to that whole Kiss mega, unifier, if you will, of rock and roll. I mean, just incredible. I mean, how hard was it for me to even find a group of guys to put Femme Fatale together? That was not easy. And I didn't have them dressing up or putting makeup on. It was challenging. So to have that commitment is just a beautiful, beautiful thing. So cool.
The music video to Living Like There's No Tomorrow, absolutely cinematic, jumping from planes, sailing, racing cars too. I know we're going to stay on Lost here for a minute. You dedicated the video to the late, great Marty Kalner, who was such a visual architect of rock. What did Marty mean to you, Lorraine, personally and professionally?
Whew, whew. Goosebumps. Okay. Whew. There is a lot of loss in rock and
I
roll
know. Yeah.
here. I mean, it started with Marty. That was March 17th, and
Yeah.
then Ozzy, and it just has continued to go on and on. Marty changed my life, in my opinion. I mean, he definitely changed my life. He was brought in, he was friends with Howard Kaufman and Irving Azoff. They were like, the top shelf badass, businessmen back in the day. And Marty was an amazing video director. He was famous for making women beautiful. That was his thing. He had just a presence about him, and I felt so comfortable with him. And I know so many other women that have shot with him felt the same thing. He had those beautiful blue eyes, number one, handsome guy, and just cool, just such a cool cat. And he did the Femme Fatale video. He was brought in and we hit it off right away. Uh, I felt that he made me beautiful. He made me feel so great and sexy and allowed me the freedom to crawl on the floor, to smack my ass. Like I just felt like I was flirting with him behind the camera. It was like Marty's the man. And I will tell you, I remember specifically when they showed me the video. It was a big conference room. That's how we always used to do things back in the day. Howard Kaufman's office, big conference room on the screen. I got to see the video for the very first time. It wasn't on a phone because we didn't have cell phones. Um, on the big screen. And then Marty was on the phone and made the call, and he was on speakerphone, and everybody was like kind of waiting. And I heard Marty's voice, and I said, Marty, you made me so fuckable. And that's all I could think of because it was like he just made me so bigger than life, And of course his comeback was I just worked with what you gave me, girl. Like and then, he said they're all going to be standing in line to date you, something like that. And it was just really cute. It's like the best way to get a date back in the 80s was to have a rockin' video on MTV.
Yeah.
Yeah, Marty, very important person. And not only for that, but also for the fact that when I co-created the show Ex-Wives of Rock, that was on Slice Network in Canada and Access TV, 54 episodes, 3 seasons. And I was creating that show. Marty is the first person I called. It's like we were sitting around, I was sitting around with my co-creator, Lisa Brucker, and we're like, okay, who do we know? Who do we know? And I was going through my cell phone and like, who do we know in the business, in TV or movies? And Marty, and he took a call right away. And it was Marty that brought cameras in and we started filming. His company was called Cream Cheese Productions. We met at his office. He loved the idea. He actually wanted to call it Cuckoo Birds originally. And then we settled, it was the network that said Ex-Wives of Rock, but he's the one that got that ball rolling with cameras, and we put a sizzle reel together. He was with CMA back then, uh, agency. They tried to sell the show with that sizzle reel that we did with him and his son. It didn't sell, and then we decided to go separate ways, and we eventually recut it and did sell it. But without Marty, without me reaching out to Marty or working with Marty, none of that would have happened. And we actually had a conversation back in August a year ago. We were planning to do another project together because, when that Nothing But a Good Time documentary came out
Yeah.
recently, I don't know if you've watched it, but I remember I hadn't seen it, but I was sort of like, why wasn't I asked to be in that? Like I was definitely a part of the scene back then, and I was offended that I wasn't asked to be a part of it. And so I reached out to Marty with another idea to do our own documentary, and I wanted to do something more about not the rock star guys, but about the women behind the rock star guys. The girls that brought pizzas in the middle of the night or fed these guys or let them all crash at their apartment, you know, that really built up the rock stars back then so that the rock stars didn't have to work. You know, they would depend on these women that were, a lot of them were strippers and dancers or working at the Tropicana.
Hmm.
And I don't feel like those women have been given their due respect. And I was kind of one of them for a bit. I mean, I was dating Ricky Rocket back in the day, and I worked at a restaurant called Le Express, and I was a cocktail waitress. And whenever I would get off work, um, before I would leave, I would call Ricky at the Woodrow Wilson Poison House and I would say, "Hey, are you hungry?" And he would always say yes. And I would bring a pizza over to the house and all the guys would join in and so I helped feed Poison back in the day as well. And if not for people like me, women like me, and the girls of the Sunset Strip, you know, who knows how these guys would have survived. So I wanted to do that documentary. He said he loved the idea. He was all on board. He just said, "I've got 3 or 4 movies that I'm doing this year." He said, "I can be a supervising director. I just can't be a hands-on director." And I said, "Good enough for me." So that was the plan back in August. Um, and then he passed away in March. So
Yeah.
wild. But yeah, Marty Kalner changed my life for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, really. Yeah, you've kept the Femme Fatale name alive, of course, and now working towards this 2026 album. There is another single coming. It's called Bad Love. What is the story behind that song?
Well, you know, Steve and I have collaborated on all of the music for the album. How it usually goes is Steve has an idea, or I have an idea that I send over to Steve. And, you know, he'll have an imprint of what he's thinking melody wise, or, you know, when you're songwriting, at least when I'm songwriting, it's very similar to Steve. You've got a melody and you kind of start mumbling words that don't really you don't have any words locked in. It's just sort of sounds of words that just feels like it feels good. And I love that he does that. He sends it over to me, and sometimes I hear a word in that and it tells a story. So that's really how this next song came about, Bad Love. And it's co-written myself, Steve Brown, and David Julian. We all collaborated on it. And that chorus, you know, "Your red flag is on fire. Don't you pull me into the flame. Too easy to call you a liar, but this bad love's bringing me down. Bad, bad love." You know, I think if you've been on the planet long enough, you've dated or you've been married or what have you, and maybe you've dated somebody that had a huge red flag,
Mm.
but you went there anyway, right? Because I've done that many times in my relationships. It's like, oh, super red flag, but instead of turning left, I run right for it. I don't know what that is. And so I wanted the lyric to be more than just "you're a red flag." No, because I have missed the red flags or I've seen the red flags and still gone for it. So for me, it has to be more impactful. No, your red flag is on fire. That's how I'm going to go. No, because a regular red flag, I might say, "Oh, I think it's okay." But no, your red flag is on fire, and I'm not jumping into the flame with you. So that's the chorus of the song. The video, we shot it in September. Vicente Cadero is the director. You know, I will say the creative side and the ideas, like even for Living Like There's No Tomorrow, I'm a creative, and so I had a vision for that video, jumping out of the plane and all of the things, and I had a vision for this video. It was really important for me to have fire in the video because your red flag is on fire, and fire we got. And it was, I will say, it was like the wheels almost came off the day before we were supposed to shoot because the permit wasn't coming in and all the crazy stuff. And so we had to change the creative on it. And all I can say is it turned out even better than I imagined it would from the original idea. Um, there is definitely fire. The band looks amazing. We're giving it our all. There is a special guest in the video. Her name is uh, Eva Angelina, and she is a porn star, and she is an OnlyFans personality, and we are friends. And she makes an appearance in the video because not only does she do all those adult entertainment things, but she's also a real firefighter. And so if you're going to have fire, you got to have a firefighter. And if you're going to have fire in a Lorraine Lewis Femme Fatale video, you're going to have a hot firefighter.
And it's
And so I
her.
brought her, and it's her. And so she's in the video. And there are some other appearances from some, shall we call them dancers? There's there's some other, yeah, there's some surprises. It's it's really cool. It's just
Yeah.
like I'm throwing everything at it, you know. It's cool. And I just saw the this was the third cut today, and I'm going to deliver it to Cleopatra Records today, and hopefully I can get it in time, and we will probably be releasing it on October 29th.
All right.
So
So second single coming, Bad Love, from Femme Fatale. So the album is due out sometime next year.
yes,
That's the
that's the
plan.
plan. I mean, we're basically dropping singles and videos. There's going to be 10, maybe 11 songs total. We have most of them done. I have to finish up lyrics on three more. We have a lot of guests, guest players that are coming in. Actually, this last track, Bumblefoot played lead guitar on it. He was actually in Katara. Yeah. And so he couldn't make the video shoot. And also, oh my gosh, I'm not going to remember his name. I had to bring in a different drummer for the video because Tony, Tony? Oh my gosh, who was the drummer in Trickster? I'm forgetting his
Oh,
name.
was it Tony?
Yeah, what's his last name?
Yeah, I can't remember his last name. Mm.
Italian. Tony.
That's
Oh my
Tony
gosh.
Italian.
And yeah, anyway, he was on tour, and so he couldn't be here for the video. And so I brought in Nick Mason. Steve and I brought in Nick Mason, and he killed it. So the video is myself, Steve Brown, Sean McNabb, and Nick Mason, Eva, Eva Angelina, and four amazing badass girls and fire.
Mm.
You're
Lorraine,
gonna
yeah, you do. You got it all covered. You've been in this industry long enough to see it all, from MTV to streaming, vinyl to digital, glam to grit. What keeps you motivated to keep writing, keep performing, and pushing boundaries too?
I love all of that you just said. I think what keeps me going is that I just am not done. I'm just not done. I don't like this is what I do. I mean, during the week I work in television, television business has been a little sleepy for the last couple of months. I wrapped my last show, Temptation Island, back in July before I went to the UK to see Oasis, by the way.
How was
Um,
that?
oh,
Awesome.
uh, uh, speechless,
Mm.
unbelievable. I saw them in Manchester on July 11th. Manchester is their hometown. I purposely wanted to see them in their hometown. Getting back together after 16 years,
Yeah.
Oasis is the shit. Like they're amazing. Then I saw them again in Pasadena in September. The crowd, like there's just this resurgence of love, and their songs are so incredible. And I feel like they're such an important band. And not everybody loves them, of course, but if you are a fan, you are really a fan. Everybody in that audience knew every word to every song, myself included. Everybody's energetic in singing the songs, and it's glue. Like, especially, Ozzy leaving us, right? And they just felt like glue and hope and healing. When you see these shows or the music and everything that you see that's coming through on your feed online that people are posting like crazy. Um, the songs make you feel good. I listen to Oasis every day. I'm not
Mm.
even kidding you. Maybe they put, how they put that like the hertz in, like the 777 or 444. I'm not exactly sure which one. Maybe that's in all of their music, and that's why I'm so addicted to it. I don't know. Like that old saying how they thought, and maybe they did, they like put cocaine in Coca-Cola that
Mhm.
was making people
Yeah.
like get addicted.
Yep.
That's kind of how I feel with Oasis. That's how Oasis music is for me. I'm totally addicted to it. I put it on and I just instantly feel soothing. It's crazy. So yeah, I love them. Um, but I forgot where was I going before I mentioned Oasis? I forgot what I was
Oh,
talking about.
just yeah, we sidetracked there. Just what keeps you motivated to keep writing, performing, pushing boundaries?
Yeah, I'm just not done. Look, I have no husbands, I have no boyfriend, I have no dogs. They've all left the planet.
Mhm.
It's really just me on my own taking care of myself. And I am just doing my life the way that I want to do it. I'm not done yet. I haven't sold 10 million albums. And that doesn't matter, right? I'm just still going to stay in the game because it's what I love. I feel most comfortable when I'm on stage. That's when I know who I am, what I'm supposed to do. I know I'm supposed to rock the crowd, give it my all, and just be myself and be authentic. It's the real life stuff, everyday stuff that's like not quite sure what I'm supposed to do, but on stage, I know exactly who I am. And so that's what keeps me going. That's just who I am.
And you're on OnlyFans now. Want to mention this too. And you've been open about joining that as a way to express your creativity and connect with fans as a fun, empowering way too. What do you want people to understand about this new chapter and how it reflects who you are today?
I love that question. Yes, I joined the OnlyFans arena last October. I went with a full announcement in January because I wanted to lead with my own narrative. I didn't want some disgruntled guy or something to come out and say, "Oh, Lorraine's on OnlyFans," because I was keeping it kind of under the radar because I was testing the water at first. But what I will say about that platform and me jumping into that arena, again, I'm a single woman taking care of myself. You know, uh, I'm not an attorney. I don't have a law degree. I'm not a doctor. I'm taking care of myself. And, I had wanted to be on OnlyFans for a while. I knew that I would not be allowed to in the last band that I was in. I knew that there's just no way at all. And I when that wasn't a choice, when I was let go of that band, it was like, oh, I guess this is my chance to do this. And so I will say, for me, it's about living unapologetically. I'm not hurting anybody. I'm myself. I'm not out to do anything bad, but I will say this is kind of, you could look at this as being my bad era, but I've always been kind of bad. I mean, if you look at, I sang a song called Waiting for the
Waiting,
Big
I
One.
was just gonna say, well, yes, yeah, waiting for the big one. So,
Yes. So it's not like, oh, what has Lorraine become? Like, no, I've always been this girl kind of pushing the envelope and, sex, drugs, rock and roll, right? I thought that that's what we were doing. I don't do drugs, but you get the point. It's always been sex, drugs, rock and roll. Rock and roll is sexy. And I have been crawling on the floor in videos since 1988. It's just, I will say the song Waiting for the Big One was written by Rick Nair and David Cole. Femme Fatale did not write that song. That was brought into us. But I will say Janet Gardner sang the original demo of that song. Now, she could have, she sang it great. She could have taken that song
yeah.
and she could have sung it with the band, but she didn't. She couldn't for whatever reason. But for me, it was like, okay, bring it on. I didn't have it. I just am not filtered like that. Like I don't want to be censored or filtered. Like the song was great. The label loved it. It was going to be the lead off single. And I did it. And if you look at the video, and I don't know if you caught this, but the video, when it opens and it pans open, and this is all Marty's work, big pan,
Yeah.
it's a mattress. That stage is a mattress. There's a little tag in the corner that says, do not remove for penalty, whatever that thing is that we all like look at those tags and always want to rip them off of the pillows and the beds and all that stuff. But that's a bed. And so if you miss that, it went right over your head. But I'm just saying, this is all me. This is me just living life to the fullest and having fun and not being afraid of my sexuality. And I will say, not everybody on OnlyFans is there to see nudie pictures. A lot of people come on and they want to talk music with me. A lot. And that's usually how I start the conversation. Like, are you here to talk music or do you want to talk dirty? And if you remember, Poison, talk dirty to me. I mean, come on, like smooth up in you, Bullet Boys.
Yeah. You can go down the list. You're going down the list. Yeah.
White snake, white snake. What is a white snake? I mean, come on. And I know White Snake had some songs too. Oh, or Balls to the Wall, except I mean, come on, right?
Yeah.
Men rock stars doing what they want to do without any kind of apology. And so why should I have to apologize because I'm a female.
Yeah.
It's just and it's there's nothing raunchy going on. It's just expression and fun and like, I've had guys say, "Oh my God, you were on my wall when I was 16 years old," or they or and I know why my picture was up on the wall, So it's just a freedom to just have fun with it, not take it so seriously. And again, Lorraine hasn't lost her mind. She is just still being who she was in 1986, 7, 8, 9. I'm just kind of the same girl. And I laugh at it and I don't take it all too seriously.
You
But I
can't.
will say, I am, I'm a rock star, not a porn star. Like there is a line,
Yeah.
Uh, but I also will say I do have an OnlyFans that is, quote, safe for work, so that you won't get fired if you open it up. It's very like kind of PG. And then I was also just invited to have my own OnlyFans TV station. It's very much like a YouTube platform, but it is OnlyFans TV. I just had a meeting about it yesterday. It is up and running. And again, it is safe for work. It's a way for people to get to know me behind the scenes things. When I'm on tour or when I played in Vegas and I had the crew there, they were filming, and you get to see what goes on. I played with Stacey Blades from LA Guns, Phil Soussan from Ozzy Osbourne, Troy Patrick Farrell from White Lion. And when I showed up, like we had to have no rehearsals. It was a private party, private event, no rehearsals. And I just show up and I'm on camera. I'm like these guys are badasses. Like they're
Mhm.
real, like they're rock stars. And I'm like, I'm a little nervous. And I was a little nervous. But then after talking to them, they were nervous too. But we did great and it was a great night. So
All right.
I'm having a very good time.
Lorraine, you mentioned that four-letter word tour. So, is there going to be a Femme Fatale tour in support of this new album next year?
That is definitely the plan for Femme Fatale to get on tour. I will say there's not much I can say exactly about when that will be, but what I can say is that I was just over the weekend in talks with a promoter outside of the country, uh, that something may be going down in March. That's the first line of when things are gonna potentially happen. And also, I have a single that is a collaboration with someone. I can't tell you who, that is going to come out probably in February. And fingers crossed that I get to jump on some shows with that amazing artist as well.
All right. Can't wait
The
to hear
track
that.
yeah, the track is done. The track is done. I mean, originally it was with Lou Graham, but then Lou and his son that manages him, they changed their mind about releasing it and decided that they were not going to release it because they felt that it had been recorded too many times. And so there's somebody else that has stepped in. The track is done, like our vocals are done, and it is so good. It is so good. So right now the plan I want to get Joel Holstra on guitar. I want him to add a track, and then I'm getting Scott Gilman on saxophone, believe it or not, and then some background vocals, and then the song will be ready to mix and master. So we're getting close. We got some good
Yeah.
stuff
Oh, yeah.
coming
And
up.
you could be jumping on tour with that person you're doing that song with, too. We have to, we'll watch out for that.
Yes.
Follow her on social for more and more teases on this stuff, too. All right. We're going to wrap up with some fun questions here, the lightning round. First thing that comes to mind here,
Oh
the
God.
first rock album you ever bought, what was it?
Rock album.
Or metal?
Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young.
Okay.
Leonard Skinner. Leonard Skinner.
Nice.
Uh, those were the first because the very first album I got was The Fifth Dimension, Up, Up and Away. I know. I was singing Linda Ronstadt covers. That was my first band. I was like that girl, all black and a cowboy hat. The band was called West Wind.
West
Okay.
Wind.
West Wind. Yeah, it was like I lived in Albuquerque, New Mexico. So duh, I'm doing Linda Ronstadt songs.
All right. Fans never get to see this. The last thing you do before hitting the stage, what is it?
Last thing I do before hitting the stage is I got to make sure that my in-ear is in. I usually walk with my arms up and I point to the corners of the room and I say to myself, you love me, you love me, you love me, you love me. Everybody loves me. That's what I do. So that when I come out, it's like, ah. And then sometimes I'll do a high kick if there's cameras around because I'm dramatic.
Yeah.
And yeah, and I jump up and down. I do windmills, and I just get psyched. Yeah.
Leather or lace?
Woof. Both.
The best advice you've ever received.
The best advice I've ever received. Nobody gives me good advice. I think the best advice, gosh, I mean, Marty Kollner, Glenn LaFerman, um, Irving Azoff, be yourself.
Mm.
Be yourself and don't give a fuck.
Yeah. Great
Yeah.
advice. Your favorite all-time female rocker?
All-time female rocker, gotta be Lita Ford.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lita is really great. Like she's really phenomenal in so many ways. The songwriting, she's a badass guitar player. She looks the part, she is the part, she lives the part. She dated not Richie Sambora, Richie from Black Sabbath. We're
Oh, what's
forgetting.
yeah, I know. See, when you get older, yes.
No, we don't use that word older. We don't use that
No,
word
you
ever.
can't. Yes, no.
But no, I mean, yeah, she's the real deal. Yeah, for sure. Lita Ford, gotta be. I mean, Ann Wilson has an amazing voice. Nancy Wilson, amazing guitar player. How people followed uh the Grateful Dead. I was that girl, but I would follow Heart. And now it's like I do that with Oasis. Like I want to go like to Tokyo and see Oasis.
You are hooked on Oasis now.
Look, well, I should have been Liam's girlfriend, is what I'm figuring. Liam and I would have been quite the couple. I would have been the best groupie girlfriend. Anyway, go ahead.
She is Lorraine Lewis, true original, who's still proving that rock and roll has no expiration date. We don't use the word older. Check out her new singles, Living Like There's No Tomorrow, Bad Love, coming out on Cleopatra Records. And don't miss that cinematic video, too. It is pure femme fatale attitude turned up to 11. And follow
Thank
Lorraine
you.
online, connect with her community, and stay tuned for more music. OnlyFans, too. More energy. A tour next year. Look out for that. Follow her on social as well. Lorraine, thank you for
Thank
joining.
you so much. You're a pleasure to talk to. You have a great vibe. Thank you so
Thank you.
much. You're a
Thanks.
sweetheart.
And this is the Metal Queens podcast. Thanks for watching. Like it, share it, subscribe to it, and write a review. I'm Steve Richards. I will talk to you next time.